I'm going to try to make it simple for you, right? Every man wants ass, right? A nice guy will give you a pass, right? But that pass that a nice guy gives is why he will judge you for your past. You got to understand this. You got to understand. That pass is when you say that you're not a certain way, a guy will listen to that and believe you if he's a nice guy, if he doesn't know better. But if he finds out that your experience is different than what you said it was, or then different than the impression that you gave, then now he feels like you cheated him. Every man still gonna want ass. Every man wants to fuck you pretty soon. Not every man, but most. Right? And a lot of the guys you think are nice guys, if you threw it at him and he would take it, then that's not really a dude's program. That's not his program. He's not being dominant about how he does his thing. He's not being masculine about how he goes about the topic of sex. He's not. But just like I said, every man wants ass. A nice guy will give you a pass. But that pass is what makes him judge you for your past. If you're doing all the things that a man wants to do with you sexually, right? And he doesn't have a Madonna whore complex to where he gets to know you and he likes you as a person, and you're attractive enough to him already, and then you start showing those wifely qualities, unless he just has that Madonna whore complex type of thing going on, that man is not going to judge you for your past, because anything that he wants to do, you're doing it with him. And if you're being honest and open about your experiences, then if there are things he want to do that you've done and you enjoyed it and you got into all that stuff, then all right, cool, now you're in a good spot. See, what often happens is women leave out the fact that, and this is something I say, it's something called a cop-out, right? Like, sometimes women will say the reasons why they didn't want to have sex with somebody, or the reason they didn't want to do this, or the reason they didn't want to do that. Most of the time, it's a lack of desire, or a lack of attraction, or a lack of respect. It's those different things, right? But a lot of the times, women don't want to feel responsible for the decisions that they make, so they want to blame it on something else. No, you just ain't feeling a nigga like that, right? A lot of times, women try to make it seem like to grow up and be mature means to be less sexual, or to place less of a priority on sexual compatibility. And really, all you're doing is setting yourself up to mistreat the next man that you deal with. The man who you deal with in that way, you're just setting yourself up to mistreat him. That's just something to think about. So it's like when we're talking about this whole process of looking at that past, the whole past situation, that is what causes a man to judge you, because now he can't trust you, right? You think a man's not going to trust you if he finds out you have a past. No, that man's not going to trust you if he finds out your past is different than the impression that you gave of it. Now, some men may, from the jump, if your past is a little bit too extensive, they may not take you seriously, or they may not want to fuck with you. But those dudes got a Madonna whore complex. You don't want to deal with them in the first place. You don't want to deal with them. But the dudes who are nice enough to wait, chances are they're giving you a pass. They're giving you a pass. Once you understand that that's a pass, don't take advantage of that. But I'd say don't even use the pass. If you have a past, if you don't have a past, like if you're a virgin, then maybe take the pass. You know what I mean? Or if you've only had sex in a long-term relationship and you never jumped into sex with anybody, you've never had a hookup, right? Then maybe take the pass if you really feel like you need to. But I feel like if you really feel like you need to, that's not the right guy for you anyways. But if you have a history, or if you're upfront with them about your promiscuous past, and then you want to get a pass, then maybe you can do that. But if you're currently sleeping with other people while you're taking that pass and he finds out about it, he's not going to trust you. Right? So the thing is this right here. So it's like if your experience is like that pass that you're trying to get, that's really who you are, that's really what your experience has been consistently, not just at that moment that you meet him. Because you may think that that's just where you are in life, but it also may be that that's just how you feel about the man that you met. And as a man, it doesn't suit us to try and assume that that's just where you are in life versus that's how you feel about us. And women should understand that, because they take that same mindset often towards a man's desire to be in a relationship. If you want to have sex with somebody in 5 seconds, you don't know if you want to be in a relationship with somebody until you spent time with them. So a woman will act like, okay, if a man wants to be in a relationship with you, he wants to be in a relationship with you. And I'm like, that's not necessarily true. It takes some time to know if he has emotional discipline. It takes some time to know. You're not just going to just jump straight into that. You're not, right? But when we're looking at it like this, woman will say, well, I asked him what he's looking for, and he said he's not ready for a relationship. He's not looking for a relationship right now. And I'm like, that nigga don't know you. Why do you want a relationship with someone that you don't know? That's weird. That's weird as hell. Unless you just like to be like serially in relationships. I don't want to have a long history of people who I'm claiming publicly. Like so far, I've only I don't claim everybody publicly. I've had plenty of women that I dealt with, but I'm not claiming everybody because I'm not trying to have myself out here looking stupid. You know, a lot of times being thirsty for a relationship is something that messes a lot of women up. And dealing with guys who are willing to go for them being thirsty for a relationship also messes them up. Because you wonder why you're dealing with a guy who's lying to you and taking advantage of you. Often he's doing that because he's just trying to say whatever you want to hear to get what he wants. You got to be more realistic. A man who's telling you whatever you want to hear, something that people need to understand is this right here. And this is something I'm going to say, and maybe this is going to be for a different video, but oftentimes what you want to hear is not the right answer either. Because you got to think about why that's what you want to hear, how that's attached to your ego. You got to think about why that's what you want to hear, and then look at the people who tell you that. So it's like a legitimate good guy, a legitimate nice guy. That's not the best thing that a man should be either. You got to understand what I'm saying. Like, being a legit nice guy, not a fake nice guy, but a legit one. You know, I'm going to say this right here. Most nice guys aren't fake nice guys. It's just when you give and give and give, thinking that if you give, then the world and the universe is going to return back to you. Thinking that because people have egos, people have self-esteem, people have security, right? People have certain things they have their energy, right? When you pour out, you expect things to come back in, right? If you're selfish, you just focus on taking. If you're a giver or you're nice, you focus on giving. You give first. And when you give first, if you give too long without getting back in return what fills your cup, then it's going to cause you to feel bitter, because hope deferred makes the heart grow sick. That doesn't make somebody a fake nice guy, right? What that means is that they don't understand that both emotional investment or both emotional connections and sexual connections are something that are intrinsic, and that those aren't things that should be reciprocated, right? But what they also don't get is that because they lack the understanding of having intrinsic sexual desire from a woman, from being lusted by a woman, they have a lack of trust in their own sexual value. And because they lack trust in their own sexual value, they feel that they need to compensate for that by adding other things into the picture. Or they feel that by having sex with a woman, they're taking something away from the woman, or the woman's giving them something, instead of it being something that's mutual, or them giving a woman some dick. So they look at what women say and how women appear to feel about certain situations and say that they don't want to use a woman, so they try to add things non-sexually into the picture to not feel like he's using the woman, because he's socially programmed. So these are different things that encounter when we're talking about sociosexual dynamics. This is just a video talking about the past, the nice guy in the past.